People always tell me their kid is fine one-on-one, like just parent-child, but then you get them in a family group and everything gets crazy. Here's why that happens and how you can take the goodness of the one-on-one interaction and make it work for your child in a family setting also. So if you have two people, let's say this is two people, everybody manages two lines of interaction. So you manage this line from blue to pink and from pink to blue. Okay, your child can't track that. You, dear parent, you hold it together. So you're a family of three. Everyone's going to manage one line of communication away from them to the other people, plus lines of communication back to them. So that is 4 lines of communication. Now they're also going to monitor the communication between the others. And everybody's doing this. So it looks like this, but it feels like this. So you're managing the other people's lines of communication. And everybody's doing that. Do you see the difference in just volume of interactions? There's just a lot more going on here. And this is only 3 people. Many of you have 2 or 3 kids. Now what happens for some of our kids is they don't actually track where the arrows are going. So if there's just 2 people and your child is not tracking who's saying what and where it's going, it might feel like this. And then it becomes the parent job to help them hold it together. So maybe this pink parent is gonna do a little bit of extra labor in order to really help this little blue guy understand what's happening. The pink's gonna hold it together. Now, if you're a family of 3 and you are not tracking the lines of communication, it starts to look like this. There's 9 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it feels like this, it's gonna be much harder for this little pink guy to hold that many lines of communication, and it starts to feel really chaotic. Have you ever been like in a language, like at dinner with people who speak a different language than you, and you can kind of understand, and you're like trying to laugh, but you can't really understand, so it's like kind of awkward? That's what this starts to feel like. And sometimes it looks like your kid's running circles around the dinner table, because why would they stay if it looks like this? So if your child is not tracking all the lines of communication, it's gonna look like this. And I want you to hold that this doesn't even show everybody doing that. So not only are they doing this, but they're doing it in an environment that is 3 times as chaotic. And many of you have more kids than this. Okay, so what are you gonna do if this is happening for your child? You're gonna reduce chaos and commotion. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna make fewer lines to follow. Okay, so the only communication that I want to be happening, let's say that green is the child, is from pink to green and blue to green. Yes, do the parents also probably want to talk to each other? They probably do. And I want you to do that at a later time, because your child right now needs your help to understand what is going on. Now you can imagine that if there is a TV or a dog, oh, no, I'm not going to be able to draw a dog, okay, in the mix, and the dog is barking and the TV is loud and maybe there's a washer going too, all of this stuff is going to make more chaos and commotion happen for this child. And so I want you to turn all this crap, the dog, the TV, the laundry, turn it off, because your child is struggling to process. And so your job right now is to help them hold the lines of communication. Now, probably they're going to communicate back to you too. And when they do, I want you to go simple back. Okay, I want most of what you're saying, if your child is here struggling and you're now trying to help them in this situation, to be praise, presence, stuff that is about the physically present thing. Like, don't be asking about school. That's going to be experienced as chaos and commotion over here. I want you to stay with what is happening right here. You can do lots of praise. Speak slowly in your nice, warm, melodic tones. When you reduce talking between the adults, all those other sounds coming in, extraneous questions, you're going to increase this child's capacity to process. When they process, they can cooperate. Their nervous system is going to stay more regulated, because they're not also trying to process all of these arrows that are going all these different directions that they don't know where they go or who they belong to or what is happening. And in this scenario, you're going to get a child who can cooperate. Now, if you've got 2 kids in the mix, what I want you to do is this. This is the most important part. Do not have the parents talking to each other, and reduce all this extraneous, anything that makes noise, turn it off. You can try doing this at dinner time or anytime when your family's together. Just do an experiment. What happens when you reduce the amount of input coming in through conversation and through all these different lines for all the different people, and you turn everything off, and it's just a quieter environment. Remember the difference between these two, right? So here you can work hard to hold it together, but you can't hear. And look at the volume. The volume is so big. And so if your child only does well with one parent, I want you to look at this. And then I want you to do what you can to reduce the chaos and commotion between the adults, reduce extraneous chaos and commotion so that your child has any hope of processing. You got this.